it comes to luxury vehicles, well, a vintage Bentley was caught, and this vintage Bentley had $140 million worth of cocaine and meth. It was shipped from Canada to Australia. Police in Australia found large loads of cocaine and meth, and that's a massive amount. Can you imagine? $140 million estimated street value. It was hidden inside the vintage Bentley, and a luxury, which you can see, that's the vintage Bentley we're showing you pictures of. It was shipped from Canada earlier this month. Now, the mixed load of the cocaine and meth has a street demand, and it's been found. And what you're seeing in terms of that vintage Bentley, it's a 1960 Bentley S2. It was placed in a shipping container sent from the Canadian border from sea over to Australia. And once when it arrived at Port Botany in Sydney, well, this is where the police were able to seize it. Now, the container has x-rays by Australian Border Force agents who spotted suspicious anomalies, and which is what triggered the examination of the Bentley, and then it revealed that you had all of that illicit drugs in plastic, wrapped and put in what you could see the headlights there. Now, this is a massive issue when it comes to Canada as being a distributor, and and now that we've figured out $140 million, it appears that the police have now removed the drugs, and now they've reassembled the vehicle and allowed it to proceed on its journey to be delivered to whoever is expecting it. And now the police investigations have to show that if the person expecting it actually knew that the car was filled with that much illicit drugs. Now, two men have been arrested who are shown as sitting by the ground of the car, that had been guarded by the police. And this is an officer who seized the Bentley as well as another vehicle, which is not of luxury but a Ford Focus, and mobile phones and computers and several other tools that they believe is part of what is in the evidence of the crime. Now, when it comes to what this means in terms of being able to have this transportation and for them to be able to find it, this is showing that police have estimated that drugs had a combined value, and when it comes to Australian dollars, $155 million, and that is $140 million Canadian. The RCMP have not put out a statement on this, but they're looking into it, as this is not the first time this issue is raised, because the port that it leaves from is in Vancouver, and we've heard so many stories about what's actually happening in British Columbia when it comes to gangs, when it comes to drugs, and this is one of the biggest cases. Also, when it comes to fentanyl cases, RCMP have confirmed their involvement in terms of investigations for these illicit drugs in the area. And previously, actually, there was a case where a Canadian was caught who was managing this high demand of illicit drugs into Australia. And this actually goes back to 2019. An individual named Yaroslav Pastovov was a music editor at Vice Media, and essentially was convicted in Canada after recruiting young musicians, models, and interns to work as drug mules to smuggle cocaine on flights to Australia. So 4 Canadians and American recruited by this individual were caught at Sydney Airport with nearly 40 kilos of cocaine in their luggage. And in 2018, 2 Canadian women were caught with suitcases full of cocaine on a cruise ship in Australia. So this is, there seems to be a trend from Canada to Australia when it comes to illicit drugs.